Hey guys, welcome back to Build Life. This video will be of our fourth off-grid build for our cabins in Kentucky. If you've been following along, you'll know that I am building some Airbnb cabins. This first one will be for my family and I, and for us to stay in while we work on the other cabins. We went down there this last Monday. It rained so hard that we wound up staying in a hotel the first night. We got down there, and Mike and George set up our campsite, and I went to pick up the lumber. I had some footage of all of this, but for some reason, the SD card didn't want to cooperate, so we lost a lot of that stuff, and I'm catching you up this way. Anyways, enjoy. I'm coming back from the Sawmill. So the guy we're going to have log our property has a sawmill. He cut me all the rafters for the roof, and I thought the roof decking. I was going to film when I'm there, but that is it was a little tense. I didn't want to whip out a camera and just start filming. But by us, lumber dimensions are often referred to in quarters. So I told him I needed 5 quarter by 12s, 2,000 board feet of that. He thought that I wanted 12-foot 5x4s and cut 105 of those. Obviously a misunderstanding. I don't need to anger anyone in an area I'm not familiar with, and I would like to preserve that relationship. He still needs to come log my property, and a lot of that is kind of done by on a handshake, so I need to make sure I don't screw things up over $1,000 worth of lumber. So I've got a lot of 5x4 lumber that I think I could I've got an idea what to do with it. We'll see. But he is going to frantically today and tomorrow cut the 1x12s, as he would call them, so that we can get the roof deck done. I've got the 2x8s on the trailer behind me now. That's a full load, and that'll give us the rest of today. It's about noon here on Monday. It is a beautiful day. It's almost 60, 59 and sunny. So we have plenty to keep us busy the rest of today and probably most of tomorrow. Go ahead. Okay. So here's where the building starts. We've got a scaffold on the outside wall in the back, the short wall, and one on the middle. These are full dimension 2x8 rafters. They're green. They were just cut, so they're really heavy. I start off cutting a square end, one end on each one of these rafters, and then we'll bring them in. That cut goes on the beam so that when the upper and the lower rafters butt together, you get a nice square cut. Mike on the left here and George on the right are screwing all the way down through the rafters into the plate. On George's end, he's screwing really close to the end of the board. Mike's got the whole overhang past his, so George is pre-drilling them. We're using 12-inch timber locks with a flat head. When we get onto the beam there, that log beam, that is an oak beam, so we're having a hard time getting the 12 inchers to go into the beam. There we use 10 inchers, and we would pre-drill, drill till it made a mark in the beam, move it over, drill the beam, and then run it the rest of the way down. That seemed to work pretty well. We got about halfway across the building on the back here on the low side, and then we decided for the way the lumber piles are in the way and the way it worked best that we would jump to the front of the house here, do the higher ones, and get that all the way done to the other edge. So that's what we did. We didn't start until 2 o'clock this afternoon by the time I got the lumber back. But you can see here, we got most of them up on that side. Well, it's pretty dark. There we go. A few rafters up. Almost a full moon tonight.
How did that come up? Want to hear some Milli Vanilli? Got some? No, I don't. If I had internet, I could get it.
So here we are on day 2. We have all the rafters up. Some of them are going to need straightened out when we sheet the roof. So these 2 rafters sit on top of the wall. You can see this outside one is flush with the sheeting. We are going to deck the whole top. We're going to cut the sheeting even with the outside here. And we're going to wrap ice and water shield all the way over and down onto the house wrap. This one here, its purpose is to stick inside the interior wall here so that when we put the finish on the wall, it comes up to this rafter, and that's a way to terminate it. It will all be exposed from underneath. But now we're going to fill this cavity with insulation before we close it up because we won't be able to do it afterwards. Right, Dave?
Right.
So we hauled all the windows back here, and now we're gonna prepare the openings for the windows. This is the Zip System stretch tape. Really stretchy flashing tape. We're going to put that in each of the sills and make a pan, and we'll put in the window, tape the sides. Alright, so the Sawmill, it's actually the logger that's got the Sawmill, just called and said all of the 1-inch by 12-inch boards, the 5/4 by 12 we call them, are ready. So I am going to run to his place and pick them up. It's about an hour drive each way, and it takes a little while to get backed in and loaded up. It's kind of bad access over there, but the other guys are sticking around to set windows, so they'll have some of those hopefully. Well, I'd say hopefully they're not all done so I could show you one of them, but I do kind of hope they're all done. So I'm waiting for the logger to come load me. So I thought I'd shoot a little bit on a Sawmill. This is a Wood Miser, fully hydraulic Sawmill. Bandsaw. The big table, that's a nice saw. By the time I got back, it had started to snow. It was dark. The guys got all but the last 4 windows in, so we taped off the last few, kind of trying to beat the snow. And George grabbed his phone and took a little video for me, but that's all I got of that evening. It's about 25 degrees out. Feels like 2. There's no heater in my little camper because I couldn't find the controller for it. And I woke up with frost all over the inside of the walls. But I got a good sleeping bag. So it's about 6:30 in the morning here. We are going to... Well, I'm sitting in the truck right now with the heat on. I'll warm up my clothes and probably make some coffee. And then try and get something done today. What happened? What happened, George?
COVID happened.
COVID took the tire off. Oh, it's a tricycle now. Making a YouTube video first. Last night we got all but those 4 windows in. Everything wrapped. House wrap's done. That's a big relief. The roof, if you can see it through here, is still a little leaky. So I think first thing, we're gonna set up and cut all these rafter tails off. And then we're gonna sheet the roof. We'll probably cut the front rafter tails off once we get sheeted up to there and do it from on the roof. Just a little short of halfway done. Here you get a little bit better look of how we insulated this cavity on top of the wall. We used rigid foam. You can see this is already covered in snow. If you put fiberglass in there and it gets wet, it just loses all its R value. So this is a much better way to go. But again, you won't have access to that later after it's sheeted. Here you can see all this really cool poplar from underneath. Some of it's pine, but the majority of it's poplar. Turned out really cool, and man, what a relief to have this covered up. Here you get a good look at the ice and water shield and how we sealed all those edges down to the house wrap. It's really important for the way this is built. This might be my spot to stand and close out all the videos. Get a good view of what we got done, but it's good to have a roof on it. I'm going to pack up and head home.